Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. Well, I say welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Lynn, and I do a lot of different crafts. Mainly, I focus on fiber arts, knitting, and crochet. That's my two favorites. Um, or that's the two that I reach for the most often. So yeah, I would consider that my two favorites. But anyway, today I have a tutorial for you. I had shown some bandanas that I'd done in the granny stitch, and I'd asked, well, I had made a statement. I said, if you would like for me to do a tutorial for you, let me know and I will. And so someone said they did, and so I said, okay, awesome, I'll get on that. And so I did. So I went ahead and filmed the tutorial a few days ago. Now, I do know I'm wearing the same shirt that I was wearing in my last video because I just got finished filming it and I needed to film the intro for this tutorial. So I was like, well, I'll just film it real quick because I still have to go to town and get something to make for dinner. Because I looked in my freezer and it's almost empty. But anyway, the tutorial today is for this beautiful little bandana. And I have it in different versions. I used the yellow because it was the best for filming, but I do have other colors. So oops, that's another colored one, but it's a simple double crochet, not a granny stitch. So I have, this one is just plain beige. Okay. This one is a beautiful little multi-cut. Well, it's not, it's kind of like a speckle yarn, not speckle. It's like a denim-y little yarn. And then this one is like a rainbow color. And I know they're kind of, I have them folded, which I shouldn't. I should lay them flat. But they're so easy to just fold and, store away. And then I have one in um, Americana colors, American colors, red, white, and blue. So, and I'm still working on more for different colors and whatnot. But for today, you'll see me using the yellow to make this one for the tutorial. And it is my first ever tutorial. I don't think it went as bad as I felt it was going at the time. There are improvements that I need to make. My camera setup, I kept hitting it. So I will get improved. So I'm going to warn you ahead of time. It's the first one. I'm a total amateur trying to make a tutorial. And I did hit the camera a few times. So there's some jiggling going on. And I started off trying to do a knife grip so that y'all could see it. I'm not a knife grip girl. I'm a pencil grip. So it probably looks very weird throughout the whole tutorial, even when I switched to pencil grip, because to me, my crocheting style looks weird to me versus others I've seen. But I don't really think I've seen anybody doing pencil grip on camera often. Let's just say that. So I'm going to stop talking and we're going to get straight into the tutorial. Okay, for today's granny stitch bandana, you're going to need a 5mm crochet hook, and I just have my little clover. You're going to need a needle in which to weave in your ends, a little pair of scissors, and I am using Lily Sugar and Cream in yellow today. I wanted to make sure that I had a color that would show up really, really well on camera. So let's hope this works. I'm going to put this over here to the side. All right. Some people want to do magic loop for starting off. And I looked at a lot of different patterns before I tried this. I don't like the idea because I do a double loop magic loop, which makes it circular, and you don't want that on a triangle bandana. So we're just going to do a little knot, do just a simple chain 2. All right, now the way I do this, hold on, let me get a little extra here. The way I do this is I learned this from another podcaster called Passionate Kelsey, is I make a single, oops, hold on. Y'all have to forgive me. This is the very first time I've ever done a tutorial, and I'm not holding everything correctly because I have to have the view of the camera, so it's a little awkward for me. So I do my single crochet, correct? All right, there's one. Now, I don't remember if this was called a standing single crochet, but what you do is you take, all right, there's your single crochet. All right, here's your top V. So there's, when you turn it sideways, you're looking at the front of it. You have 2 posts. Now what I need you to do is go in this post right here, the one on your left. All right, yarn over, pull through that 1 loop, and you have 2 loops on your hook. Then you yarn over and you pull through both loops. So that's basically, I think they called it a standing crochet stitch, but I'm not 100% sure. All right. So here is where you're going to start building your double crochet and your granny stitch. So this is going to count as, and I know it looks a little odd right this moment, but this is going to count as your first double crochet. So you yarn over, go back into that first stitch from the chain 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. All right, that's your second double crochet of your granny stitch. Now you need a third one. So go through that first chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 hoops, yarn over, pull through 2 hoops. All right, so this, you will have essentially created your first granny stitch. Chain 3. It's very awkward doing this so far away from my body. All right, now I have, let me see if I can do it. And I do not usually do a knife hold, but I'm going to try it this way, see if that's better for me working on the camera. All right, so right now I have my 3 double crochets and my 3 chain stitches. Yarn over, go back into that same one. So initially we're using that first chain from the beginning. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's your first double crochet of the second granny stitch. Yarn over, go back to that same stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. All right, so you got your second double crochet. Yarn over, go back into that same first stitch, that first chain. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So right now, let me pull this out for a second. Right now you're looking at your very first row. So you had your chain 2, You went in that first chain from your hook, the furthest one away from your hook. You did your standing single crochet, and then you did 2 double crochets, chain 3, and 3 double crochets. So that is your first row of your granny stitch bandana. All right. So you do not, this is where I differ from a lot of people. And this is why I liked the way Kelsey did it so much, is because usually, and you don't have that big gap right here. If I would have chained 3, you would have had a big gap. So what you do, I'll put my hook back in my work. I'm going to turn my work. All right. I do not even chain 1. So what I do, and it's kind of hard to see, but I'm hoping that I'm getting this on camera. So when you look, I'll pull that out of the way. When you look at your stitch, basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go in just like this. Okay. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to go in just like this, but I need my yarn. And that's why I moved my yarn out of the way, because it's kind of hard to see it when I'm holding my yarn in this typical position. All right. So get your yarn back here behind your hook. Go in there. All right. You grab your yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through both hoops. You've got your single crochet, correct? All right. This is where I showed y'all before. I'm looking at it from the side. So go in on that post on the far left side, just like that. Yarn over, you pull through that first hoop, yarn over, pull through both. And you basically got a double crochet, a thick one to where you won't have a gap. And this is so odd. I'm not used to knife grip. I'm a pencil grip girl all the way. So I am making 3 double crochets right here in this one. All right. So I got my first granny stitch made. Then I single crochet. Sorry. I did my first granny stitch, and then I did a chain 1. I'm a yarn over and do another 3 double crochets in the chain 3 loop. Okay. That's 1. I wish it wasn't so awkward, but I'm trying to teach this in a crochet method that I'm not used to by doing this knife grip. All right. So now I have, for row 2, I have a 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. Now this is where, see, I'm in this chain 3 space. So I need you to chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Now, I had to fix my camera and do a couple other things. I tried to see if I could get a little better lighting from this side, but for some reason, I have 2 ring lights. One wasn't sufficient enough to make any big difference, so I was trying to find my second one, and I can't find it. So I do apologize for that. Now, I did move my camera a little closer down so that I hope it gets a little bit better of a view. I can't tilt the screen enough to show me what it's showing you. So anyway, on round 2, I have 2 granny stitch, a chain 3. Now I'm going back into that same chain 3 space and doing, I've got to do this. Okay. I've got to figure out a way to teach you what I'm doing or show you what I'm doing and still be comfortable, because that knife grip was not working for me. All right, so I'm doing another three double crochets to where I have my triangle point. All right, I'm going to chain one, and I don't even know that this video will ever make it into the tutorial because it feels so awkward and it's not comfortable at all. But if not, hopefully I re-record one and make it work. So what I want to do is I go to the very far left, the last, in this row, it will be the last double crochet, or it'll be the first standing single crochet from the row below. So you have 1, 2, 3. Go in that, do your yarn over, do your double crochet, and do 2 more in that same spot. Okay. Wow. You know, I watched a ton of Mikey at the Crochet Crowd. I watched a ton of his tutorials over the years because he's just awesome like that. But let me tell you, oops, sorry, I hit my camera stand. I did not know just how hard it was for him to do what he did. Mikey, I know you will never watch this, but honey, I have a newfound respect for you, which it was already a great deal of respect anyway. All right, so that is round 2. So what we're going to keep doing, I'm going to show you one more round, but what we're going to keep doing is we're going to do this until I made, hold on. All right, the first one I made, I did, and I'm counting the first one I did. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Looks like I had 12 rows. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, 13. Okay, so this one I did 13. It was really super big. So when I did this one, I did 1, 2, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so we're going to do this 11 rows, and we're only on row 2. So we got a little bit to go, and no big deal. I'm going to show you one more time. All right, so I've reached the end of row 2. I'm going to turn my work. I am not going to chain 1. I'm going to pull that out of the way, and then I'm going to go right back into the top of that last double crochet. I'm going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. All right, that's my single crochet. All right, then I'm going to go to this far left bar, go through it, yarn over, pull through just the first one, okay? And I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2. All right, that's that. And I think it's called a standing single crochet, but I'm not 100% sure. Whatever technical term it is, you're basically putting a single crochet on top of a single crochet. All right, so you do your 3, or you do 2 more double crochets. So you got your first granny stitch, chain 1. All right, you go into that first chain 1 space in the row below, and you make another granny stitch or granny cluster. 3 double crochets, okay? All right, chain 1. All right, you come up to your chain 3 space. You go into that and you do 3 double crochets. That's 2, 3, you chain 3 because you're making your next row's chain 3 space. So you go 1, 2, 3, yarn over, and you go and you do your next 3 double crochets. And for those of you who already know how to do these, you can speed ahead. All right, you do the granny's. Oh gosh, I think I just got off camera for that. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to. All right, so you do your granny stitch cluster, chain 1, then you come into this chain 1 from the previous row. You do your 3 double crochets. My elbows naturally want to bring my work to my body or closer to me, and I'm fighting that urge because it's just it's not conductive to filming. So I did it at the peak. I did a granny cluster, chain 1, granny cluster, chain 1. Now I'm going to go into this far left. Oh, I hit that stupid stand again. It's right here by my head. I'm trying not to hit it. All right, so 1, 2, and into that third one. Oop, I only grabbed 1 hoop. See? So I need to press down a little harder to get there. Nope. Bah. Sorry, guys. I am not trying to screw this up. I really am not. All right, so I wanted both of those, and I hit my thing again. Hold on. Let me see if I can stabilize it without it just wanting to bounce. So, sorry, give it a second to stay still. I will try to figure out a better configuration to do this next time. All right, so I'm going to do my last 3 double crochets in this last stitch. All right, so that I don't torture y'all any more than I absolutely have to. What I'm going to do is we are now 3 rows in. All right, I'm going to come back when I have 11 rows, and we will start. I will show you how to do the picot, how I do the picot edging and do my ties and whatnot. Okay, so I have done 11 rows. Well, I'm almost done with 11 rows, but it kind of gives you an idea of just how big this puppy is. And I didn't think to grab my ruler or my measuring tape, either one. Oh, actually, I do have a old school ruler from back in the day. So here I am doing my very last granny stitch cluster of my 11 rows. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I don't know if this is going to show all of it, but this is what it looks like in all its beautiful little glory. It's so pretty, and I love the beautiful bright yellow color of it. So right now it measures, let's see, right at 8.5 inches. That's 11 rows, so that's 8.5 inches. And let me see, tip to tip. Oops. I have poster board on my desk so that I could have a white background, and it's moving. Okay, let me go to this side. I'm in view here. All right, so we have, I'm going to mark, all right, so that's 12 inches. Oops. So it's roughly a just shy of 15. So it's about 14 and 3/4 width. Okay. So that is 8.5 by 14.5, or 14 and 3/4. Now, I'm going to show you this picot edging that I do. Oh, let me see if I can get myself back in the center here with best I can, not being able to see my camera screen. All right. So I just completed my 3 double crochets, and I'm going to turn my work. All right. Now, I'm probably going to be doing a major faux pas, but I tend, in one of my videos, I said that I liked the picots to end up in the center. All right. And in order to do that, you have to start your picot, your single crochet of that picot, in the first stitch of your granny stitch, right? So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to go into that first stitch, make my single crochet. Now this one, I'm not going to do that standing because I don't need it to be a double crochet size. It's just going to be that single crochet. Then I'm going to chain 3. All right, and I'm going to go back into this single crochet, but I'm going to pick up both of these bars, this one and the one on the far left. All right, I think what I'm going to do, I'm putting my hook in there so I can show you what it's going to look like, but I'm going to take it out. All right, so I've done my single crochet. I'm going to chain 3. All right, then I'm going to go into these 2 bars right here. All right, I'm going to grab my yarn, bring it through, and I'm going to slip stitch it just like that. And then I go into my next stitch, which is my center stitch of my granny stitch. And then I single crochet 1, 2, 3. Then I do a single crochet in the first of the next granny stitch. All right, and then I chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then I go in that front bar, the second front bar. I yarn over, pull through, and then pull through that one on the hook. So that's that slip stitch. Then I single crochet 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we have got 2 picots, and if you'll see, it lines up really well with that, the center. I know we're starting the picot on that first stitch of the 3 double crochets, but by the time you do the slip stitch and then you go into this the next, making that next single crochet, it leaves that picot pretty much right there in the center of that granny stitch section. All right, so we're going to go in again. Now we're at this first stitch. We're going to do that single crochet. I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to go into the 2 bars on the front. We're going to yarn over, pull through those 2, and then pull through that one on the hook for our slip stitch. We're going to do a single crochet 1, 2, single crochet in that chain 1 space, and we're back to our next picot. Okay, so you can pause the video now and come back. Sorry, I hit this thing again. Come back when I have did my picot edging all the way around. Okay, and I keep hitting this thing, and I'm going to figure out a better configuration of having this going with this camera, because I keep either I'm trying to pull this to me or I'm trying to lean my head down, because we know my vision is not very good. So I am going to cut it off here. You can hit the pause button, and I will be back when I have done the picot edging all the way around. So I thought about something as I was trying to go ahead and get this work through. On my previous ones, I did, oh no, all right. I had to do a different picot edging on my solid double crochets, but like on this granny stitch, what I'm going to do is, just bear with me, we're going to have to basically make it up as we go along, right up here as we get to the tip. All right, so I've done my my chain 3. All right, gonna slip stitch into that first chain. All right, so I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3. All right, so since we don't have a chain 1 to go in right here, we're going to envision that it is. All right, so I've done my 3 single crochets, so I'm going to do the 4th one like it would be if I were doing it in the first of this granny stitch. So I do that one, and I do chain 3, go under these first 2 bars, these front 2 bars, do my slip stitch. All right, and then I go back into that chain 3 space that we were working in, and I do 1, 2, 3. So at this point, I am still, it's like I'm going to be right here before I go into that first stitch. And then we would just resume as we have been doing. We do that initial single crochet in that first double from the granny stitch. And 1, 2, 3. All right. And then we tie it down into that. Okay. So at this point, you can pause it. And I do apologize. I just wanted to come back and show you how to work in that chain 3 space of the tip of the triangle. Okay? So just come back when we're done with the last of this picot edging along this side. Now, I did come back a little early because this is going to look different than the beginning. All right, in the beginning, we did, let me make sure this is in frame here. Okay. So in the beginning, we did our single crochet and picot at the very beginning. All right. If we keep in pattern the way I have been doing it, we would have the picot starting here, and then we would have 2 single crochets after that. And it wouldn't be obvious from one side to the other if you were wearing it. So if you're making this for yourself, by all means, continue it as we've been doing. But since I have plans to sell this, as I don't have the head or the ears to wear bandanas. So what I do is I put this stitch in here so I could show y'all. This is where I would normally do it, correct? Well, I'm taking that stitch out. Me personally, I skip that stitch. So I go into the second double crochet of that granny stitch, and I make that my single crochet and then my chain 3, to where I'm going to do that picot just a hair bit closer to the corner of this triangle. All right. And then I will anchor it down with a single crochet at the very last double crochet in the bandana. Okay. So it looks like, which you can't really look at that little piece right there because it's not going to be there. So it looks very close to the edge, very similar to this one, correct? So I just tried to make it look a little bit more uniform because I have very high standards of things. Even when I have to fudge things that I'm keeping for myself, I still have a high standard. So I want it to look uniform, okay? So we've done our picot edging, and they're not all laying flat because I didn't get it all nice and ready. But they're all laying flat and they're all laying pretty. So at this point, I go blah, blah. I go across here with single crochets. Now how I do that, and I've lost the center because I had to readjust my camera again, and I do apologize. So right now I'm at that corner stitch, right? That very first of the double crochets. All right, so in this pattern, and this is the way to keep everything nice and even, you have your double crochet, and then you have the top of the next one, which creates like a little bitty hole. Let's see if I can get that close enough where you can see it. So I single crochet into that bar, around that bar, I single crochet into that little circle that I made, then I single crochet into this, and then I single crochet into that next hole. So let me show you, and I'm going to stand up while I'm doing this so that I can see where I'm looking. All right, make sure I have y'all close. So I go into this double crochet, I go around that double crochet, and I do a single. Then I go in this little hole here, I do a single. I go around this double crochet, do a single. Go into this little hole, do a single. Now this one is a little abbreviated, but you go around that double crochet. All right, now you go back to the little hole. I don't know what else to call this. It's like the top of that row. Then you go around the double crochet. Then you go into the hole. And you double crochet. Sometimes I will split that double crochet as I'm working and go into this hole. I know that one was a little hard to see until I put my hook in it. Sometimes I will split the double crochet, like the threads around it, but this gives a nice uniform flat look. Okay, so go all the way across, and if you want, you can pause it right now, and I'll meet you at the other end. So I came back just a little bit early. I did crochet over that tail from the initial where I started. I'm just going to cut that off real quick. I'm using my handy dandy little surgical scissors that, I have a couple of those laying around. But anyway, um, that way I don't have that initial tail to weave in. So when I'm getting close to the end of this, I just did it in my last double crochet. And then I'm going to go into the top of that one. Okay, that's my last single. Now, you can go into there and do like a slip stitch. Sorry, I'm getting off camera. You can go in there. I don't. I just start it from here and then I chain 75. Okay? 1. All right. I've chained 20 so far. I'm going to stop it here and come back when I get 75. So I've chained my 75 and I'm going to snip it off. All right, pull my loops. Pull that through. All right, so this is another thing that Kelsey showed me. And like I said, I do not mind. I am 51 years old. I don't mind learning from anyone. I don't care how old they are. But she taught me a handy little trick to finish off on her, on my double crochet bandanas. I do this because this is where I learned it from with her. So basically, I just fold my tail, okay? Then I make a little loop. Not wanting to come through. Okay, so now I still have that tail fed through there, correct? But I just kind of do it like this and tighten it up. And it becomes a nice little edging for the bottom of that tail. See? And then I snip this little puppy off right here. I like to get as close as I can so that I don't get fuzzies. So, we got that done. Now, you're probably wondering, all right, I have the bandana and I have one string, right? Now, the one thing I noticed, and I don't know how this came through in my yarn, but it's frustrating as heck because it looks like it was some kind of blemish. I didn't notice it until I was almost done with my 11th row. I don't know. So anyway, I need to do my second tie. All right, I got my first tie already done. Now, I'm going to do my little slip knot. And I'm going to chain 75. So go ahead and pause the video and I will meet you back. Okay, so I have chained my 75 for my second tie. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to slip stitch it in that first, actually this is the last single crochet after I did that picot, but it's not into the actual band of the bandana. So I'm going to slip stitch in there. All right, and then I'm just going to go across. I see a cross with a T and it's not, it's a cross. And I'm going to single crochet across the entire long strip of the bandana. And this gives you a little bit, a little, it gives you a little thicker of a band, so to speak. I just like to make sure that I have something anchoring that tie well. All right. So far, I've had the end. I didn't have to weave in. I just crocheted over that because that was knotted initially. And I did my first tie, snipped that end off, and I will do that tie. Actually, I'll do that tie while we're on here right now. That way I can go ahead and get all of my ends tended to, except the very last one. And I like doing this because I am not a huge fan. I don't think any of us are a really huge fan of weaving in ends, but I want to make sure I have as few as possible. So, everything's so backwards because I'm trying to do it for the camera instead of doing it the way I normally do it. Oops. Sorry, that was totally off camera. That was totally out of frame. I do apologize. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and come across here. I will be back in a moment. Okay, so, sorry. My mount for this camera is not the most stable. So I have 2 single crochets left to do. And I'm going to show you, not teach you, but I'm going to show you this little trick I have. All right, so that's my last single crochet, right? I'm going to snip this puppy. Okay, I'm going to pull this out. All right. Now this is something I learned off Moogly. She showed me this on that rainbow blanket that I showed y'all that I did. And that's what I said. I just pick up so many different things from so many different creators that I love to learn. So I don't mind learning anything new. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm looking at the next stitch if I were to go into this one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go under the V with my needle. I'm going to come out this side. Oops. Like that. All right. So I came through there. Now this is my very last single crochet that I did, correct? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the top of it. Hold on. It keeps moving on me. So I went through here. Now I'm going to go straight from the top down. All right. And in doing so, it creates the top of another stitch. So you can camouflage where you bound off. Now how cool is that? All right, and then I'm just going to go back here, and usually I go 3 or 4 stitches one way, 3 or 4 stitches back that same way. I do this for a total of 3 times. That was 2. I'll go back into that. I see how it's coming out right here. I don't ever go back in there. I go to the next loop and then go through 2 or 3 of them, pull it out, snip it off, and I am done. Now how fun was that? And now we have our granny square. bandana. I hope y'all enjoyed it. It was a very awkward at the beginning, um, as far as trying to get things done at an angle that actually worked. And my little thingy's not working right. But anyway, that's the idea. I hope you enjoyed it. I did. So give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. See, I told you it wasn't as horrible. It wasn't. I can improve a lot, and I know that. But as I've told y'all, I don't mind learning new things. I don't mind. I can learn new filming styles, new ways to present it to the camera. As far as how my hands are, that how my hands are in the shot. And I hope now I did preview before. I did do basically a preview to see if I liked it, to see if I even wanted to upload it, and it was not perfect by any means, but it wasn't horrible. So I was like, okay, I'll upload it, and it wasn't. And my thought went poof right out my head. My husband came through, and I got distracted. That's good when your husband can distract you still, right? Anyway, give me a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't, I'm sorry it wasn't your style. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If not, I understand. I'm very new to this. It's my first tutorial, so it's okay. I can handle it. So if you do make something, shoot me an email. I'd love to see it. My email is listed down below, so I'd love to see if you do make something. I'd love to see it in a lot of different colors because I've gotten the variegated, I've gotten solids, so there's so many yarn choices out there. And yes, I'm making them all in cotton, okay? Because to me, a bandana screams more summer than fall or winter. But I mean, there's only so much variegated yarn that I have on me, even though it's a lot. Anyway, I hope y'all have a wonderful afternoon, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.